What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be previewing round 7, Port Adelaide versus Carlton, this Sunday at the Gabba, starting at 12:35 p.m. It's going to be a big game, and especially with Carlton coming off a very good and impressive performance of 52 points against the Dogs. Port Adelaide is definitely going to have their work cut out for them, especially at the Gabba, which is a place we don't seem to play too well of late. So coming off a good win against GWS will give us a massive confidence boost, especially coming off the loss to Brisbane at the Gabba. So hopefully we can play the game well and take out what is still a very important 4 points heading into a part of the season where it's going to be very condensed, and every 4 points is crucial. So without further ado, let's get straight into this preview and see who will come out on top. Carlton is one of those teams that Port Adelaide simply, I don't know, it's just one of those danger games that seem to pop up every now and then, especially when you play Carlton at the G. It's always a tough tussle, and no matter how well or how bad Carlton are going, we seem to struggle against them. But at the Adelaide Oval, on the other hand, we seem to play very well against them and seem to smash them all the time when they do travel. But this is different. This is at the Gabba, a totally different scenery, a totally different place for both teams to be playing each other. And it's going to be a game of territory. I think it's going to be a game of attacking, an attacking style of play that I think will suit both teams a lot more. A lot more high scoring, I think, will be a main factor as well. And it'll come down to the forward line matchups, which I've labelled as a key for this week's game. We know the midfield for each team is going to be quite a battle, but I think down in each end, there's some fascinating matchups to take place. Down at our end against Charlie Dixon, you'll have Jacob Wiedering, which is no doubt one of the form defenders in the comp. And I've always said that Charlie Dixon will, if he kicks 3 or more goals, Port Adelaide usually win the game. So if Wiedering can do the job on Dixon and nullify his influence on the game, we know Charlie's influence around the contest is always 100%. No matter whether he it takes the mark or he makes sure that our small forwards or our small crummers around the footy get the first opportunity to get the ball. And the players like Butters, Gray, Rosie, Farrell as well, who are around the contest, and anyone else that's on ground, Motlop as well. He definitely provides a little bit, a different aspect and a different entry point, if you know what I mean. Like, if we're going inside 50, deep inside 50, we're going to have Charlie there at the goal square. And I know it's bomb it in long and give Charlie an opportunity to take the mark. But it does work out for our smalls that we seem to crumb well. And if Charlie's influence is taken away from that, then no doubt Carlton will have the upper hand down in defence. And then you look at the other end of the scale. They've got Mackay, they've got McGovern, they've got Eddie Betts, who, all these forwards who are crafty, they're, especially McGovern and Mackay, they seem to be playing a really good brand of football at the moment. Eddie Betts always seems to, I don't know why, but every single time we play him, no matter what team, where it is, whoever, Eddie seems to star, and his influence has got to be taken away, especially around the 50. His pressure is always really good. So they're coming off a good win. They're going to have full of confidence, and they're no doubt they're not going to be scared of us. They're not going to be scared of Port Adelaide. But it's nice to know that we're coming into this week's game as a target. You know what I mean? So usually we play these types of games. We're mid-table, and it's sort of one of those games that we have to win to make sure that we're in the finals contention. This time we're playing to keep our top spot. We're solidifying ourselves as a major contender for this year. So beating a team like Carlton, who's up and coming, their pressure's always fantastic, their energy around the footy's going to be matching what ours has been across the season so far. It's a big challenge. And at a place like the Gabba, it's definitely going to take its toll. And I feel, it's going to be a lot closer than people think. And a lot of people come out. Luke Darcy came out and said Carlton have a chance. They have a real chance of beating us. So it's nice to know that we are trendsetters at the moment, sitting at the top of the table, but we're a target, and we're going to have to deal with that pressure of being the target instead of us chasing the targets. Having a look at the changes this week, I feel like there's obviously going to be 2 changes. And this coming out on a Thursday. Teams won't be announced till Friday, so we have a 26-man squad. I can guarantee there'll be at least 2 changes. Sutcliffe is out with that hamstring injury. Ebert out with 1 week suspension. So if Dersma's fit, he definitely comes in and to take that role across the wing in that half-forward role that he's played so well since starting his career at Port Adelaide. And I think the other one that come in is Georgiades. Plays a similar role to Ebert when he's down forward. It allows us to have a bit more flexibility sending Westhoff back, which is something that worked really well in the last quarter last week. So if we're able to have that flexibility, Westhoff playing anywhere and playing that second ruck, Georgiades is definitely going to have that option. Well, Ken's going to have that option with Georgiades. So if we can implement that change, that may help us structurally a bit more. It's pretty similar to the round 1 structure that we had. So they're probably the 2 changes. I can't see any more. If Motlop gets up from his concussion, I think then yeah, there's only going to be 2 changes. You don't drop anyone. These are both forced changes, so you don't go dropping anyone from a good win like last week. I think for Port Adelaide this week, no doubt the performances of that second tier group, the up and coming leaders and the crop of players that are hitting their peak at the moment, the 23 to 26-year-old bracket, they've got to perform again. As I said, like in the review, Farrell, Amon, SPP, Houston were all standouts last week. I feel like that this week they've got to do that again, because no doubt Carlton will probably tag Boak or to try and nullify his performance. Robbie Gray hasn't had that big game yet, and you suspect that he is eager to take a game by storm, and it's one of these games where Robbie can do that. So these players have got to stand up around him to make sure that he can have maybe one of those games. But also, our main asset, our biggest asset is the back 6. Mackenzie, Jonas, Burton, Clury, DBJ. So all these players that have come through, Hartlett as well, you know, they're a real group at the moment. And I did say that this game would be a pretty high-scoring affair and pretty attacking, but our defensive unit seems to be one that even though a game can break open, like it did against Brisbane, we couldn't nullify their performance because everyone else didn't really stand up in that time. But you know, the likes of I think we were playing, even like last week. You know, we're on the back foot in a couple of quarters, and those back 6 were just standing their ground. And I think if we can have another performance like that against a younger Carlton group, the pressure might get to Carlton, and you may see us break the floodgates open a little bit. In saying that, the same will happen to us. No doubt that the likes of Doherty can be running from half back and really setting Carlton up. So yeah, it's going to be a back and forth kind of performance. It will just be a matter of who can defensively play their part and take their opportunities, because I've spoken about it every single game. Take your opportunities. You're going to put your best foot forward to winning a game. And Port Adelaide's got to do that every single week. We did it last week, didn't do it against Brisbane. It's got to happen this week. Which leads me to my tip for this week. Last week I got it right, tipping GWS by tipping Port Adelaide to beat GWS by 17 points. I'm tipping Port Adelaide again to win by 15, a topsy-turvy type game. And I think we might see the likes of Boak and Robbie Gray putting a big performance in to making sure that we get across the line in this one, because no doubt these 4 points are crucial. Going back home next week against St Kilda and getting into that period of playing condensed footy, which is going to play a big role in seeing who can stand up in tough conditions. Well, Port fans, let me know in the comments below what you think about this week's game and who you're tipping for this week. That wraps up this preview for round 7. So I look forward to seeing Port Adelaide take on Carlton again this Sunday. It's going to be a massive game, and hopefully we get the job done. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide content. Thank you so much for the support as of late. My name is Anthony, and as always, cut on the pair.